Hello YouTube, and welcome to episodes 3 and 4 in the Kabukimonogatari reaction series, that being a larger part of the second season of the Monogatari reaction series. We're back here today, finishing off the 2 episodes to kind of close out the arc here. Should be a lot of fun. The world's been annihilated, so we'll see where that goes, but anyway, we'll talk about that. First cab off the rank, the poll, it's still in Discord for practically another, 24 hours by the time this video goes up. Hang on, not 24 hours, like 12. It'll be pretty quick. So this will be an absolute last chance. If you see this video very quickly, vote in that poll. The poll I'll put up here. Lots of interesting stuff on it. Lots of votes counted already. It is still pretty close. If enough people were to talk about some show and really wanted it, they could change the result if they wanted to. So keep that in mind if you haven't voted already. Rightio, just jumping into the comments summary right now, seeing what you guys had to say about last week's episode, episode 2. So the first point here was about the police officer who wasn't Araragi's mom, even though I thought it was. And I found some solace in that a lot of people thought the same as me when they initially watched it. So yes, I was correct in my little editing there. It isn't the mom, it's an unnamed character that seemingly has a lot of random characterization given to her, which was kind of interesting. There's no indication that this is a known character from the novels. So yeah, it just begs the question, why does she have the weird thing with the pencils? Why do we get to see her eye? Why does she exist so thoroughly? Why does she have such a kind of entertaining, bubbly voice, I guess I would say? I think Fats had a nice little theory here about maybe it being somebody that he knew through his mother, or maybe somebody with his previous run-ins with the police that maybe he has some relationship with in the future. Something like that, maybe. So 11 years in the past, this person could be a deputy that moves up the ranks, becomes a chief police officer. Araragi gets in a lot of trouble later on. It is what it is. So yeah, those points based off John Bueno and the aforementioned Fats. John Bueno brought up this one as well, and I think it's interesting. I have a little bit of a theory about it. Yeah, kind of this energy appearing at the shrine. Why is it there? Why has our interpretation of it changed based on, we thought it came along with Kiss Shot, and that's what powered up the shrine. So I have a couple of things I wanted to say on this. One, it could just be kind of a place that lives outside of the realms of time as we know it, if you know what I mean. So Kiss Shot, putting the power there, puts the power there forever, throughout history. If they went back to when it was built, the power would still be there. That's just the way the shrine works. The other thing is that maybe another different vampire, a very powerful vampire, went back before even this point and put the energy there to make sure that they had enough energy to be able to travel. Now that's getting into our time travel fiction stuff, and I have my theories that it may actually just be Araragi, but we'll see what happens there. That'd be a classic time travel thing, like, oh, Araragi actually went back from the future a second time and put that there so we could fix up that paradox. So I don't know, we'll see what happens there. It seemingly is a somewhat important point, considering they brought it up at the end of the episode before we jump into the portal, so we'll see what happens. The school uniform kind of worn by the 3 rando girls in episode 1 and the one worn by Shinobu in disguise in episode 2 is the middle school uniform, just making sure that we know that. So it isn't some weird uniform change stuff with the high school. That is a middle school student. Those are middle school students. I think Nadeko wore that back in the day as well, but I fail to remember. Either way, that was brought up by Aki-chan des. Alexander Dunkelheit came through with a slight correction, I guess you would call it. Araragi and Shinobu went back in time for the homework reason, the stupid Endless 8 reason, where they needed to complete the summer homework before the year came back proper. And that year coming back proper is the first day that Hanakawa goes back to school at the start of Nekomonogatari Shiro. So that kind of fits with our timeline there. He neglected his summer homework. It's only after he's thinking about Hachikuji as he walks through the portal that what happens. So it's highly implied that him thinking about that gave the portal the idea to take them back 11 years into the past. Backslash gave some nice insight into the novels here. Each arc in the second season is its own novel, so when I was talking about Nekomonogatari Shiro chapter stuff and Kabukimonogatari chapter stuff, they're both different novels. They can't have the same chapters. That wouldn't make any sense at all. But it isn't like that for everything. I guess I shouldn't say every arc, because in Bakemonogatari, it's split into 3 different novels. Nisemonogatari is 2 different novels, and Kizumonogatari and Nekomonogatari Black have their own novels as well. But for second season, seemingly each of our little arc names there, not the one with the character followed by the aberration, but the Monogatari part, is seemingly its own novel. So I don't know if that's interesting at all, but I found it pretty neat. I love Nathaniel's point in the comments as well, so kind of postulating if Hanakawa and Senjugahara got wind of what they were doing, would they even want to be saved? I just believe this on a very human level. Everything you are the things you experience, the things you go through, so taking away those problems that they've overcome changes their character completely. It also lets them not meet Araragi. They wouldn't have a reason for Araragi to be involved in their lives like that. I don't think that they would take that chance. I think coming out on the other side of a lot of it, seemingly, there's still a lot to go under the bridge with Senjugahara, I reckon, but Hanakawa seems in a better place. So coming out on the other side, I'm stronger for doing that. I don't want to go back and change the past. Huge theme in time travel fiction, and I wholeheartedly agree with it. Matt had a really interesting comment about the Namashiro Park stuff. So Namashiro Park in the novels is kind of weird. It has a weird naming convention. So Araragi can't initially read the kanji correctly and has some different thoughts about what the names are, kind of Namashiro or Rohaku as names for the park. The anime adapts this in a nice visual way, where when we see the park sign in episode 3, hiragana letters taped under the kanji showing the pronunciation, which I'd imagine wouldn't happen in real Japan. But when he sees the same sign in episode 4, someone has taped over the letters and now reads Rohaku Park. I like how they're visually adapting something from the novels. I think that's pretty cool. And that's a good example of it when we'll come to a little bit of a worse example later on. And by later on, I mean right now, because Simon has this comment about the chapter skips and weirdness. So, in Nekomonogatari Shiro, there's chapter skips. There's chapter skips from Hanakawa's perspective. She calls them out as missing pieces of her own recollection what's going on. This fits for Hanakawa as a character. She is very observant. She would notice something like this and be like, oh, that's a bit weird. And then, yeah, we, the audience, figure, hey, it's probably the cat doing some stuff. And it was. So, enter Kabukimonogatari, and we are kind of trained in that way to think that chapter skips are important, or at least something we should keep an eye on. So when they happen, and it doesn't mean anything, it is kind of just there as, hey, we didn't really want to adapt this chapter, so we just skipped it in the text. I think that's kind of lame. At that point, like, why are you doing the chapter numbers? It's just a little bit weird. It made sense when you skipped chapter numbers to include them, because that's a subversion. If we just keep them in, it's just a random number every now and again showing something. It means nothing. It's meaningless. Like, they could have had one less number and nobody that hadn't read the novels would notice. I don't know. Just a weird one for me. I don't know why you would do that in an adaptation setting, unless there's some other meta thing happening later with it. I don't know. We'll keep it in mind. Oh yeah, one other thing. There was some discussion about where kind of the senpai's going to college was in the timeline. I think we kind of ended up on about 15 years ago. So if I get up my Google thing here, I've changed the timeline to reflect something like this, even a bit further up. Yeah. 15 years ago, broadly. See, undisclosed things that have happened in the past before we start time traveling here. So we'll keep an eye on this going forward. I don't know how relevant this is going to be, but we're going to keep updating it. That's the goal here, to keep a updated timeline of what's going on in Monogatari. Jumping right into the recap of last week's episode, Araragi and Shinobu go back to the past to play the shitty games that suck ass. Araragi figures that he will save Hachikuji whilst back in time, and kind of justifies not saving the rest of the characters who would have had problems around this time as well. He needs to find a house that has Hachikuji's mother's maiden name on it, so he can show Hachikuji to that house so she doesn't get as lost and get run over, so makes sense. Araragi asks a passerby if she knows anything about where this house is. It turns out this passerby is a very young Hanakawa, and Araragi is weird about it, so it's really awesome. Either way, Hanakawa points him in the direction of a police station, which he should sit in a cell and think about what he's done. But either way, he asks the police officer kind of seated there if she knows where this house is. She starts spouting off some stuff about Tsunade, which is Hachikuji's mother's name. I think the police lady writes a map or something which points him in the general direction of the house. The police officer lady asks how Araragi knows Hachikuji. He says, "Oh yeah, I'm friends with the like 8-year-old girl," and that makes her sus. And then he runs away. Either way, Araragi's being weird again. Araragi then proceeds to stake out Hachikuji's father's house, waiting for kind of Hachikuji to leave and start to make the journey to the mother's. Hours pass and she still hasn't made it out. The dad kind of approaches the house and says, "Hey, have you kids seen my daughter? She's been missing for a few hours. She left at 5 a.m. So yeah, she skipped them. She's already out on her journey. Either way, they catch up to Hachikuji at Namashiro Park. Aragi's a bit of a weirdo again, flipping up her skirt. She runs away. She somehow mistakes Araragi for somebody that saved her, not the pervert in the first place. Araragi gets Hachikuji back to her mother safely. So that's job accomplished. We're done. We fixed Hachikuji's life for sure. Araragi and Shinobu agree to go back to the portal. They jump through, and hey, the entire world has been annihilated apparently. So I have some predictions about this. First off, older Hachikuji, so I'm imagining that the world isn't annihilated, like there's nothing left, like the world isn't not there, you know what I mean? I'd imagine it's just gone into ruin. It looked like a post-apocalyptic survivor Hachikuji, which is pretty cool. I could be completely wrong on that, it could just not be Hachikuji, but there's too many design elements there that just make sense, so I don't know. Still bringing up this point, Shinobu and Araragi's kind of connection is severed at some point. There is a separation there when Shinobu has to go help Hanakawa during Monogatari Shiro. There was some implied small stuff around Shinobu / Araragi betraying each other, so we'll see where that goes, but I'm pretty sure that they were just talking about it in that they won't do that. Either way, I think that would undercut a lot of Kizu, so I hope they don't do that. But yeah, just broadly, the question of why did the world die? Why did everything go to shit? So some thoughts. Hachikuji was instrumental in Araragi's development as a character, and his first big step towards that hero-y self-sacrifice stuff that we see from him a lot. Kind of going, hey, despite all this, despite being the right answer to walk away and just leave Hachikuji to her own devices, I'm going to stand up and be a hero. That inspires Senjogahara to confess. Big scene, awesome scene, it's all very good. But if that doesn't happen, where does it leave us? I think that's the question. Maybe that has something to do with why the world is the way it is. Maybe not solving one of the problems we have solved otherwise in the series, or solving in a different way, causes something massively bad to occur. Either way, we're going to find out in episode 3 right now. Just make sure stuff first. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I could do to improve my presentation, comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you'd like me to follow you back. And the Discord, join the Discord, vote in polls on the Discord, talk about Monogatari on the Discord, all sorts of other stuff. And yeah, gonna jump into episode 3 of Kabukimonogatari right now. Rightio, got episode 3 of Kabukimonogatari up here ready to go. Let me pop that up on screen. 25 minutes and 2 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly. As always, there will be a picture-in-picture version down below. And yes, using the Call Girl subs. And yeah, just going to jump in and give it a 3, 2, 1. Radio. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, what did we mean by this? Yeah, okay, like post-apocalyptic. Yeah, okay, cool. It's a little bit funny, Last of Us on HBO, like today. And then we get this overgrown city setting. That's a little bit funny. Yeah, what the hell happened is the biggest question. Great, okay. Lots of time to postulate on that. So yeah, it's what I thought. The world itself isn't blowed up. It's just that things have gone south. There's not a lot of people around. Something has occurred. Maybe it has something to do with the Jiangshi, that we were talking about. That's kind of the aberration of this arc. A lot of themes about life and death and reincarnation as well. We see a dead city right now. So saving Hachikuji's life in exchange for the life of the many others. The city itself. The setting of the show. Interesting directions for sure. I really enjoy this opening. I can't wait to do my little ranking there at the very end. I think we'll see some unexpected answers. I get the feeling this is going to be tragic. At least a little bit, right? Mayoi Jianshi. What year? Okay, so it's the 21st today. But in the different timeline. That I may need to write something in my timeline for. Yeah, where's my family? Yeah, it's the person I've been with, like, the whole time. Didn't you already walk through? It's pretty overgrown. Hmm. Ooh, street signs with foliage. Yeah. Little. I can't do that. Oh, great. Oh, the editing. Stop blaming each other. Come on. Well, it's at least a city. We don't know about the whole world. Well, Sengoku's been missing for 2 seasons anyway, so. Yeah, that's the other side of it. Hachikuji could have did something later on that caused something bad to happen. You wouldn't think so, but butterfly effect and all that, right? Next chapter? Okay, June 14th. During Bake. Yeah, immediately too. It didn't fall into disrepair, everybody just disappeared. I agree. Yeah, it wasn't something slow, it was something immediate. Yeah. She's having a think. I too do this when I think. I'm trying to think of something, but I can't remember. Okay. Yeah, that is very important. Okay. I would like to know why as well. That was a weird look. Yeah, time slip more, it'll be awesome. I mean, I guess we have to, right? Oh, we're popping back up. What about our energy situation? How's that going? The date on that stone too, is that when the shrine was established, maybe? Oh. Oh yeah. Okay, I remember this. Wait, what? Yeah, I don't remember this. Okay. Yeah. But what's the difference between the talismans? Okay, so it absorbs energy instead of keeping it there. So we can't go back? Is that the implication? Using the same energy. Yeah. Yeah, why did he change that? That's the question, right? Something had to have changed it. Yeah. Oh, stop him. That you or I can touch? Okay, so aberrations can't touch it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it is. Good old Zetsubo. Oh, hello, shade people that have been predicting for ages. Okay. I agree. What are these? It's like yeah, zombie-esque, right? Yeah. Caught between life and death. Our themes. Are they CG? They're CG on some of the shots, I believe. Okay, then we're safe right here then. Okay, but how do we get away? Did they all just... why did they all appear here? Okay, bye. That was a bit goofy, I liked it. Oh, yes. Falling through the sky holding hands. Infinitely great trope. I love it. That's the question, right? Yeah, do they only appear at night, maybe? Yeah, you literally couldn't have thought that, huh? Oh, the sun. Oh, I like blaming each other to taking the blame themselves. This scene's awesome. What used to be vampires? Okay. They're just like me, for real? Used to be human. The themes of the arc. Okay, so this is Shinobu Bad End. How does that work in June though? I'll need to think about that. We will see. Oh, cute little wings. Okay, fair enough. That's a long time. Okay, because they're vampires. Okay, now we're the 22nd. Yeah, explain. Okay. Yeah, in June. What day was it? Please tell me. It's in Bake somewhere. Please tell me. Please tell me. What was the school festival again? Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Very relevant. The kind of ending of Bake. Oh yeah. Okay, so he didn't call out for Shinobu at that moment, maybe, and she got fed up with all of it. Kind of the build up from Bake. Oh, this is awesome. No, you don't know what Shinobu was going through at that time. Yeah. What was Shinobu going through? No. It was very important. Because you called out for her, huh? Hmm. Yeah. Talk to me. Yeah. Go ahead. I thought you just wanted some donuts. Yeah. So you maybe weren't threatened to death by Hanakawa? Oh. I don't remember that part. I remember that part. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, right. She probably won the. Because you didn't know that Shinobu had run away? Weird. I'll need to go back and rethink it. The music's great, by the way. So subtle. Hmm. Hanakawa caused the end of the world. Imagine seeing this without watching Kizu, by the way. You'd be like, what is going on? I mean, you would infer what's going on, but it'd just be weird. It'd be very weird. Yeah, you killed everyone. Yeah, because Shinobu's strong. Yeah, cool. So kind of almost zombie vampires. Yeah, you were patient zero. Yeah, so shouldn't you still be here? Apologize if that was loud. Okay, how'd you die? Oh, yeah. Okay. But you didn't. It isn't the you that exists right now. No, it's just all coincidence. It's not your fault. This isn't the you. Everyone gets over Araragi every now and again. Oh, in the rain. Yeah, we're just gonna vibe, I guess. And the sun through the clouds. Beautiful. Costu. Yeah, fair enough. Now it's a bunch of you seen that show The World Without Humans? It's kind of that vibe. What is that? Still like Araragi on the money. Oh, we're gonna do some fireworks. I get the feeling that somebody may still be alive, actually. Oh, yes. Little traditional Japanese dress. Wait for a cloudy day. Okay, so now we're the 26th. Interesting. Tamaya. The soundtrack's killer this episode. It's so awesome. But now they're going to be surrounded, right? Like that preview we saw. And besides, we kind of are vampires, kind of. Oh, it's beautiful. Well, we're at Namashiro Park, right? Yeah, it could just be some bloke. It's not going to be because it's Monogatari, but... Oh, who pushed that over? I think it's some kind of zombie. Unless it isn't? Oh yeah, it is, okay. Okay, and that's where we jump off. Alright, well... Kind of a weak ending there. Like, they're obviously not going to die. Like, what's the drama there? I'm very happy I'm watching a second one. Thank you. Thank you for telling me to watch 1 last week and 2 this week. Because that'd be such a lame ending point. I love that episode. Thought it was fantastic. The vibes, dude. So different. We're letting it breathe a lot because there's no people around, right? There's still a lot of dialogue, of course, and very interesting dialogue, and I want to jump into my timeline and edit it a little bit. But yeah, just like, it felt different. It felt different in a really cool way. And the revelations there, again, it's just dopamine for somebody that's kind of paying attention. I like to think I'm paying attention, at least a little bit. So now I can put some extra stuff under my Bakimonogatari timeline, I guess. I don't know how I'm going to format it, but we'll see. And radio jumping into a little bit of analysis on Kabukimonogatari episode 3. First, just right off the bat, look what I found, class. I've gone back to episode 13, I believe, of Tsubasa Cat, yes. And I found something interesting. Just it's on 2x speed, so just be about that vampire, Shinobu. Yeah, that one. I think I saw her around yesterday. Around 5 at night, she was out at Mr. Donut out in the Arizonan desert. She was out getting donuts. Would Oshino really let her go out like that? So I thought I should tell you that she was out and about, probably away from everything else that's going on right now. And then, yeah, later in this episode, so Meme is preparing to leave, but he also hasn't found Shinobu, and that's a big reason why he's worried. And now we know why he's worried, because she potentially has the power for everything to go poorly, especially if Araragi dies tonight. Yeah, it's all starting to come together and make sense. That's pretty cool. I like that a lot. And now I've made some changes to my little timeline as well. So I've got this part here, in between Bakimonogatari start and Nissa Monogatari start, where yeah, it's the timeline, the 2 splits of what happened from June 14th onward because of what happened when they changed time back here. So, Shinobu runs away from home, We both have that inciting incident, right? Now, Shinobu runs away from home from something that has been set up throughout Bakimonogatari, which is Araragi becoming increasingly interested in all these different girls, right? And not focusing as much on Shinobu. It's reductive to say Shinobu's essentially jealous, but she is, right? They have a special connection that they've had through Kizumonogatari, which isn't being reciprocated right now. And a big part of Tsubasa Cat's resolution is realizing that, hey, Shinobu's actually a really big player here and very important and somebody I can rely on and somebody that I know exists and somebody that I'm thinking about, right? And this is where the difference was, what I just showed on screen before. Mayoi tells Araragi Shinobu is away. Araragi never meets Mayoi. So by extension, never meeting Mayoi, never getting this information that Shinobu is away, subsequently never talking about it as much with Meme. Meme would just hide that and try to keep it to himself because he knows that Araragi's going through some other shit. This here's the canon ending to that little arc. Araragi calls out for Shinobu right there at the end, right as he's about to die, and is saved because she's always been in his shadow. She just jumps out and destroys Black Hanakawa, like she has done in the past. But this is what happens because of this. Araragi dies at the hand of Black Hanakawa. Now, what happens when Araragi dies is that, hey, a lot of the energy that was in him flows naturally back to Shinobu. It follows the same principles as Araragi. If Shinobu ever seems to pass away, just let her die, leave her, abandon her, and you'll become human again. The opposite is true for Shinobu in that way. Now, because of this, because she has all her power back, because she doesn't have her servant, now she's lost 2 servants. She's probably going to snap. Starts making vampires. Vampires make more vampires. Then, because of what happens, we can imply that she kills herself, I think. And then that causes a zombie plague. So, very interesting developments there. Again, butterfly effect, right? You wouldn't think about all these things happening like this, but they do. The other part of it is what happens at the end of Mayuri Snail, because this is important, so follow me here, right? I guess Araragi and Senjogahara just get together in a different way, right? Because the impetus for the Black Hanakawa incident in Tsubasa Cat is a lot of jealousy as kind of Araragi is showing a lot more affection to Senjogahara and the others. So I would imagine no Senjogahara, no Black Hanakawa re-emerging here as bad, right? She's clearly not as stressful. But I don't know, clearly Black Hanakawa still showed up here. Clearly he's still probably got a relationship with Senjogahara. Clearly Black Hanakawa is going to re-emerge, Hanakawa's jealous, that kind of stuff, right? I didn't make any other changes. Maybe I should put something like way back here. Probably move these two around too. Because there was something to do with the shrine and when it was established. I think it was in 1919 or something like that. So maybe that's important. Maybe we go back to that date as well. The shrine seems very important to what's going on here. But either way, this has opened up a can of worms. I'm really enjoying breaking stuff down like this. I'm going to keep this this little Google Doc up. I think that's fun. But yeah, I guess I should jump into the episode proper as well. And the episode up here, because this episode was pretty cool. I probably won't break down the granular details as much now that I've done it in the first portion here, because a lot of this episode is the reveal of that information, so I'll probably skip over that a little bit. But yeah, just from a kind of filmmaking perspective, felt different again. These are 2 episodes back to back, 2 and 3, that feel very distinct from the Monogatari formula, I guess you would say. Still has the kind of editing flair there, but this one, in contrast with the last one, which was all plot, 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 this one's very sparse, very reflective. I liked it. I thought it was very cool. I like how broad the scale is here. I know we've had like large establishing shots in kind of Monogatari before, but seeing them like this, like in a row like this, with this music, with not a lot of people around, is kind of ominous, I guess I would say. We're trying to demonstrate all is not what it seems, so we've got a lot of regular Monogatari fixtures, as well as stuff exclusive to this arc that we're contorting slightly, right? So lots of shrubbery and stuff all over. Street signs that are a huge part of Monogatari, and they appear throughout basically the entire show. They're a big part of the visual design element there. Now we've got some traffic lights here as well. Another very important reminder of what happened to Mayoi, as well as the kind of themes going into this arc that were presented by Orgi. The other part is also the stuff with Yotsugi at the start of the arc as well, is very relevant about what is between life and death, what is kind of the difference there, reincarnation, all these different things, right? It's clearly a theme throughout what we have going on so far. Just, yeah, quietly walking through this environment, right? Just seeing what's what. Yeah, it's meant to be disconcerting, right? It's meant to be, creepy, uncanny, all these feelings, right? Yeah, no dialogue before the opening. Love it. Just let us reflect on what we've done. And when we jump in later to our characters that feel devastated, it feels earned because we've seen this opening scene, right? They're like, shit, well, what actually did happen, right? Like, imagine going back to your family home, one that is pretty much constantly occupied by your sisters, and them just not being there, right? Everyone you've ever loved has become a zombie, vampire, something, right? Again, it would be very shocking, especially when they go back to the shrine and find that they can't simply reverse what has happened. The opening's delightful as well. I really enjoy it. I'll probably rate it highly come the end of everything when I rate the openings. So they've gone back to August 21st, and now this is what's playing out. We're in this timeline. Actually, I probably should add this to my timeline. Give me a second. I don't know what I did, but I stuffed up my Google screen region, but it should be okay now. I've just added this part here. Shinobu and Araragi arrive in post-apocalypse and think about what they've done. That's kind of most of the episode. And then they go play with fireworks and get surrounded by vampire zombies. These seem like the important, like, this is the start of the episode, this is the end of the episode. This is the stuff we have to follow, right? No electricity, can't turn on the TV, do any of that stuff. Pretty obvious stuff. The world has been ended for 2 months now, should be no electricity, you would think. I liked this moment, kind of catching Shinobu reflecting on some things, right? Of what actually happened. I know that I'm all powerful. right? What could have happened for this to have occurred? I know that I am probably the most powerful being in the universe right now. What have I done to cause this to happen? It says like a smoke or fog. They go around to the different houses to check because they have the responsibility to do so. Both of them right now feel very responsible for what's happened. Kind of. They'll reflect it a different way later on, but I'll explain it. The world has been annihilated. That was a cute answer. And then it explodes, right? So very quick cuts here. The editing's really nice. Lots of thoughts, lots of dialogue, lots of people talking over each other, right? This is them. Okay, you know the stages of grief? So they know that something's gone bad, something's gone downhill. They know that they're personally responsible, but they still lash out in anger at somebody else, right? They outwardly display their inward negative emotions towards themselves. So even though they both are blaming each other right now, they both deeply believe inside themselves, and they explain later on that they believe that they're to blame. Another great moment here, I'm picking up lots of stuff. Araragi says, it's at such a scale where I can't even panic. The world has changed from its normal level to such a degree that it's not even like something in my frame of reference that I can be worried about. It's just so alien to me. Great line, I thought it was great. Just in general, because I'm not going to pause on it very often and talk about the reveal of information, just know that it's great. I love the mystery here, the kind of different pieces we think back to during the rest of the show so far, and think how they impacted what we see now, right? It had my mind working and had me thinking back to Bake, thinking about what happened. The little flashes they show of Bake are effective. They help me in remembering things, which was nice. The most important piece of information from this scene, however, is we should take that the night of the 14th of June is very important. We can imply that because these papers were delivered on the 14th, so they're dated the 14th, they're the news from the 14th, they're delivered on the 15th, the world had to have survived another day, but not after that. So something happened over those 2 days. Again, Shinobu hears this date, is thinking about some stuff, is looking down, is like, and then tries to think, what could have happened to make this occur? Because she knows something that we and Araragi currently don't. She seemed like she was really troubled. Yeah, she does. She really blames herself for this. Either way, now we're going to go back to the shrine itself and try to go back in time. Clearly it would still have that energy, right, that we could use. We're going to go back to the 14th, see what occurred, and figure it out from there. If it really is an aberration problem, then we can go back to that date, solve it, and then the world will be fine, right? Again, not that easy, as we see, for multiple reasons. Still, all these reflective shots of Shinobu, lovely. Didn't notice them on first viewing. Just, yeah, she's worried. I think she, deep down inside right now, knows what happened. She's just waiting for that confirmation, which comes in the form of the zombies. There's the date there as well, February 1919. I don't know if it'll be relevant, but we're keeping it in our heads, to the point where I'm not even writing it down on my timeline. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be relevant. We find a different type of talisman that has been put on the shrine. During the deco, we found that the shrine is very dangerous and that kind of thing. We put a seal on it. I think that's what happened way back in the day. Yeah, I remember she was killing snakes, and we needed to put a stop to that power, the power that other aberrations may come in and try to harness and fight for, and that kind of thing. It would have caused a whole bunch more aberrations to come to the city. But the effect on this talisman is different. So I'm wondering what causes this change. I'm not really sure. Again, butterfly effect stuff, I'm unsure how that would impact. But this talisman, anyway, it kind of drains the energy. There's no energy left here. It's all inside that little piece of paper, I guess, right? Instead of it stopping it, we're draining it. So we cannot use said energy to go back in time again. The talisman you attached dispersed the spiritual energy so that it didn't collect. The talisman that's in front of us now is the one that absorbs energy. Okay, so the little difference there. Collecting and absorbing. The spiritual energy necessary for the time warp has been absorbed. Very true, we can't go back in time. At least not the way we think we can. I think there was some implication in episode 2 that the power is still inside Shinobu in some way, right? I think. So again, I do think this isn't the show going forward, guys. I think we're going to go back and fix some things. Of course, it's going to have that very tragic scene where we go back and probably have to watch and let Hachikuji die. And again, shifting blame, like we saw before accepting it himself, he's now blaming Meme. Meme, you put the wrong seal on this, you jackass, you ruined our lives. I guess I could write that on the timeline as well, but again, not really relevant. Either way, we noticed that the sun was going down, kind of shining through the bamboo before, and now it's kind of reaching its peak, where the sun is setting, we're going into night. Araragi goes to kind of peel off the talisman that's already there. Shinobu yells at him to stop, but he doesn't. And we get the word absorption. And yeah, it sends him flying back. It has absorbed all the power. The power is currently in that piece of paper. It hasn't collected it. I don't know, it's a weird distinction. He technically can't touch it the way he knows because he is an aberration. Shinobu is also an aberration. A solution here could also be, hey, I can get rid of this seal if I let go of Shinobu and become a human again, right? Then I can just touch it and then go back in time like normal. But I would also have to sever Shinobu for that to happen. Maybe that's the direction we go, we'll see. It's time for despair. Despair it is. Love that word Zetsubo. Very Danganronpa energy. Yeah, some of the shots of these dudes look like CG. Either way, it looks good. They kind of remind me of humanity from Dark Souls a little bit. Just the eyes there. Yeah, here, definitely CG. You can see it in the movement. So these are the kind of the husked corpses of the vampires that used to exist. Once you cut off the head of the snake, this is what remains, I guess. So they currently have no master to serve. They're serving nothing but their own carnal desires, I guess, to eat and replicate and do that kind of stuff. I don't know, weird. They decide, hey, even if they're the town residents that maybe have something wrong with them, we can't attack them, you know what I mean? Either way, I think it would be a bad idea to attack them. I imagine it would be like a touch you turn into thing type situation. So Shinobu's solution is to jump really high in the air, and we get the proliferation of one of my favorite tropes that I get to talk about. I think this is the first or second time I've talked about it on the channel. There is a shortcut to meaning, and it is two characters falling through the air holding hands. Put a bunch of examples up here, I guess. It literally works every time. It's a cheat code. People should do it in every show that they can. It is kind of like connection through immediate danger, right? Despite us falling, we're falling together, you know? We're holding each other. I know, there's something meaningful to that, I believe. I think it's great. And then Shinobu just calmly says here, they probably weren't zombies, but I have a feeling what they might be. Again, yeah, through this whole episode, she has this dreadful feeling that she is responsible, right? Or a version of herself is responsible. Oh, and then it's so cathartic at the end of the episode when we do the fireworks as a result, right? Just, despite it all, we can still act like this, right? Despite what has happened, despite you and I essentially being to blame for everything wrong here, we still have each other. Kind of harkening back to our time warp theme with the traditional Japanese dress as well. Kind of the summer festival-y vibes as well. Love it. Thought it was great. This shot here as well, the light source is beautiful. Again, cutting our frame this way. Striking. Love it. I'm guessing this is sunset before sunrise the next morning, because they say they wait up there all night. This is not something you need to worry over. I'm to blame, Shinobu says. This is where we get our reveal. I'm not saying this to cover for you. It's the undeniable truth. It's the hard truth that I am responsible. Oh, and the shots here, just like the... So continuing like rotating like this way, right? On the characters, and then the continued close-ups when we get the reveal of information. She's also channeling a lot of the blame that she has for Araragi's current predicaments, with him being not quite a human, him being a vampire, onto the rest of humanity at large. Because of them, just like you, were humans I turned into vampires. This is what has happened. Do I really only seek to destroy like this? There's also the whole thing, I don't know if I've talked about this already, with the servant. So the servant killed himself. Araragi died essentially by Shinobu's hand. Shinobu was away, kind of essentially running away, right? Is fed up with everything, sees Araragi die, or feels the energy flow back to her, and has lost her second most important servant in her long lifetime. Of course that would cause you to snap. And then once you've snapped, once you've made a mess, once you never have a chance of getting that feeling you got from your two servants ever again, you end your own life. Tragic stuff. If I'm interpreting that correctly. God, Shinobu's good. Shinobu might be best girl. I'm gonna be dead ass. I like Shinobu's little wings here. We haven't seen those before, to my knowledge. And yeah, she uses them to kind of keep Araragi from danger for the rest of the night. It's another big theme in this episode. Shinobu is blaming the her that doesn't exist, the her that isn't herself, right? Which you can't do. Again, all you are is your experiences, right? If you have different experiences, you can't blame another version of you appearing. You can't take on the guilt of something that another you did. So we have this kind of music boxy, slow music playing in the background as well. Love it as a decision. And just here's our reveal of information. Again, probably going to go through pretty quick. But yeah, this is when it all starts to click, right? The reflection on the calendar as well. We've talked about the calendar and the Araragi family before, using that kind of image in the background as a piece to show the dates. It was the day of the first date with your girlfriend. Well, unless I'm getting that wrong, and it's the 14th, 15th, that would have been the 13th. Again, it's semantics, shouldn't matter. But yeah, the first date with your girlfriend, him and Senjugahara under the stars, it was all very beautiful, into the next morning, and then the Hanakawa stuff erupts from there. So Shinobu ran away from home at the end of Tsubasa Cat, something that was kind of glossed over in the moment. It was kind of background noise to what was occurring. Kind of this, and then I thought it was interesting going from that into Kizu, because Kizu's where you find out about that connection and why it's so important, why he called out for Shinobu when he did. Right? Because she is intrinsically part of him, essentially, right? And him forgetting that, him forgetting their promise, could have devastating consequences. So one, he doesn't even have the knowledge that Shinobu has run away, so he doesn't even know that he's meant to be looking for her. Thus, he doesn't have the knowledge to call out for her when he's getting killed. Thus, he is dead. Thus, Shinobu, racked with feelings of guilt and unwantedness and all these other things, right, ends the world, essentially. The back-to-back placing the characters here as well, not seeing eye to eye, right? The elevation change as well. It's also revealed that Shinobu was already planning to annihilate the world had she not been found that day either. She was clearly fed up with Araragi at this point. Something that kind of glossed over my mind in the reaction. As I saw before, Hachikuji told him about Shinobu running away. That's an important detail as well. So Hachikuji not being there doesn't even put it in the mind of us and Araragi in that arc. This is where we discuss the idea of Araragi dying and the energy flowing back into Shinobu. I want to extrapolate on my point from earlier during the reaction, kind of not seeing Kizu into watching this. Again, I still think that would be kind of insane. I'm sure you can infer a lot of things if you were really, really, really paying attention. But it is hard, especially in a weekly format, which I think this aired in. So good luck, right? Unless you're constantly rewatching the show. Kind of talking about my framing before as well, Araragi has now turned. Shinobu's still facing away, still clearly feeling guilty about it all, blaming herself for what happened. Again, you can't do that. So yep, once she kind of snapped, made a few vampires, those vampires spread, the next vampires spread, and then yeah, it just goes from there, right? It doesn't really have a gestation period to my knowledge in the same way, so I don't know how the whole world would be wiped out, but sure. Because the whole thing with zombie virus, right, is zombie virus man gets on plane and then spreads it throughout plane, and then it gets into the airports, and then it goes to every country, right? If that isn't the case, all your kind of landlocked countries would be fine, right? I mean, nobody's flying to Australia, I don't think, from Japan to make us all vampires. I don't know. Well, I guess it's an impossible question. God, what would an Australian vampire be like? That's kind of horrendous. Describes the spreading of it kind of like a pyramid scheme as well, which is a bit funny. And then that begs the question, well, if I'm dead and you're not Shinobu, where are you right now? You should be the only one that's still here. Surely you would know if there was some other living creature around. Why haven't we seen you yet? I believe that I'm already dead in this version of history. And who would be powerful enough to kill me? Me. That's the only one. And then great scene starts here. Shinobu says, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do this. Clouds over sun. Great. Little pathetic fallacy there. Yeah, clouds even more. I just wanted you to find me. I didn't think it would end up like this. Again, still facing away Shinobu. Still facing that wall. Thunder starts. Lightning. Stop it. Don't apologize. And then we're sitting level, right? We're still not level like this way, height-wise, but we're level, we're facing the same way, right? We're no longer in conflict. We're no longer blaming each other, we're both taking blame. Shinobu, you don't have to apologize anymore. You didn't do anything wrong. Good guy Araragi. Shoutouts to good guy Araragi, we like him. In this world where everybody is zombies, we have to keep living. Again, all this zombie so we've done time travel fiction and talked about destiny as a big theme, and then kind of zombie fiction and talking about keeping on living, life continues, what is humanity, and using all those themes as well. As I've said before, as if we didn't have enough things to consider in Monogatari, now we're bringing in other genre fiction's main themes as well. It's a very versatile Monogatari, you can do a lot with it. And yeah, clouds disappear, sun breaks through, we're seeing eye to eye, there's no longer this dark, cloudy feeling of, I guess, dread, of guilt over Shinobu. The clouds have cleared, the rain has stopped, there's some puddles on the ground, but we walk around them, it's okay. That kind of vibe. Great, love it. So cool. They go to a Costco equivalent, I believe. I don't know what Costco is, but I imagine it's warehousey like this, I think. That's the whole point of it. Is it implied that they still leave money at the counter as well? That's kind of cute. Again, keeping on living. We're not going to not follow the rules of our society, right? We're going to keep what makes us us, you know? Anyway, this builds up to one of the best scenes of this season, probably one of the highlights of the show, maybe even. I love the fireworks scene here, I think it's great. So the fireworks scene works twofold. It works practically because, hey, if anybody is around, even the 1 in a million chance that somebody's still kicking out there, this will alert them to our presence, right? But we're also using our weather idea here, the kind of second half of the fireworks as an idea. We're going to wait for the clouds to clear. Then we're going to do the fireworks. It's all going to be okay. We're going to keep up some level of normalcy, like a summer festival, right? Like there's other people around. We're going to have a good time. We're not going to give in to despair. We're going to keep our humanity. I like that as an idea. Nobody could have wished for better weather for fireworks. And now we're all the way to the 26th, so it's a few days after what happens at the end of Hanakawa's little arc there. I think the framing here is awesome. I think the colors are awesome. We're doing it at Namashiro Park, clearly relevant location. We could see how widespread the effect of the fireworks there was as well. And yeah, we're also waiting until it turns to night. We know where this scene will go eventually. Araragi starts to second guess what they're doing. Even if there was somebody out there, they might just think that this is a trap, especially in a world of vampires. Shinobu says, "Stuff that, I'm having a good time," steps on his foot. None of that nonsense. Of course this is going to work. Great, he's really turned her opinion around. Helps that I love the yukata as a costuming choice as well. Got a lot of good costumes out of Shinobu this arc as well. We're doing the grand Monogatari tradition as well of calling an arc Mayoi and then it not being about her basically at all. it's more of a Shinobu arc, honestly. The separation here between the two. In the big grand shower curtain of fireworks. Not quite sure what it's trying to say, but yeah, definitely visually effective for sure. Before we do that, just this nice one last shot of Shinobu there, before we jump into shit going downhill. So they've put buckets of water down, put all the fireworks in them, and it gets kicked over. So we know who's around. Lots of zoom-ins on the eyes, and in the reflection of the eye, we see these zombie vampire husk people that are chasing them down. And then straight into ED. So that episode felt short, but wasn't short. It was about standard size, so I don't know. That's a really bad ending spot, and we're just going to jump right into that episode basically now. But yeah, really, really great episode. Loved it. Thought it was great. Thought the reveal of information was good. Thought the kind of directing and the use of pathetic fallacy and the framing was all great. I think it's thematically interesting. I think the way we're going with the characters and what they need to learn is cool, is important. And I'm interested, plot-wise, to see where we go from here. How are we going to get out of this situation? I think it has to do with that Hachikuji lady, but we'll see. Either way, jumping into episode 4 of Kabukimonogatari right now. Rightio, got episode 4 of Kabukimonogatari up here ready to go. Let me pop that up on screen. 26 minutes and 30 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly. And yeah, just going to give it a 3, 2, 1. Rightio? 3, 2, 1, go. Easily more than 100. A lot more than 100. 300? Oh, the music's great. The percussion. Lots of zombies. Yeah, we're surrounded. This is bad. And the rain. Rice. Rice? Oh yeah, you throw rice at occult stuff, right? Isn't it the whole thing? You throw... That's something, right? Oh. Hello. Hello, person. Wearing a backpack. Pick up all the rice. Yeah, I think it's you. I think it's you. That's cool. We're just jumping straight in. Immediate criticism, which is a bit weird. I would put that scene at the end of the last episode. That's a way better ending. And it isn't even that much longer. Like, that was a minute. We could have put that minute at the end of last episode. That would have been great. I know anime production isn't that easy, but I would definitely make that edit now once it's all done. That's just a way better ending. I wonder why she survived. I mean, maybe it's the aberration, the Jiangshi. So you're already an aberration, so they don't attack you like that. Something like that. I don't know. Already a vampire, technically. It sounds like the same VA to my limited ear as well. So, like, obviously putting on a child voice right now, putting on a bit more of a normal voice, I think. Tall and tough. Yeah, it was us. Maybe not. Maybe the voice is different. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, we're just trying to let you know. Yay! I'm not stupid. Hooray! Yeah. Oh, back to back again. Yeah, it is a bit of a coincidence, unless there's some reason why. Nah, there's other reasons. Oh, the little hair. Okay, there's still plenty of people alive. It isn't the whole world. Okay. Yeah, what about it? Yeah? What do you mean by this? What is happening? He did say this. Who said this? All flirty? Oh shit. What is happening? How does this make sense? Oh, the animation there. Hmm. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I like the glass break there. That was cool. Oh, two lions. Look at this Steins Gate shit. Okay, I'm gonna need to read all of this. Yeah, she did. She failed to commit suicide. Wasn't that a thing? Maybe that was a thing. This is incredible. Okay, so we're going to need to go find adult Shinobu. Of course we're going to help. We help everybody in need. Yeah, okay. Alright, that's clearing up that then. Same girl. Same girl. Alright, cheers. Because Oshino and Meme are shit. And it's all because of those fireworks, too. We love Oshino. Shedet's Meme. Sure. 2 children. The one you directed me to, Smile? What did you mean by this? Yeah, now I'm taking care of the kids in turn. Yeah. Yeah, we gotta go save the world. We were just playing. Well, it was kind of both, right? You guys are strange, though. Yeah. Yeah, way back in the day. Yeah, somewhere on the roads that are very dangerous. The red eyes, too. Well, that's just gonna, cause more questions. But sure, very sweet. That was a very sweet scene. Yeah, but I do have a lot to say to the Hachikuji that I know. Again, keeping this separation between the people in different worlds. The music too, Jesus. Yeah, but together you make the same person, kind of. The same power level, at least. Ha 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 ha. He said it. He said the thing. This truly was the Monogatari of all time. Yeah, you will. We always pick the girl, baby. Yeah, we want it all. We want it all. Yeah. This is so nice. Linking back to the Yotsugi stuff as well. Alright, what are you up to, Shinobu? Oh yeah, we just got a bunch of swords. Okay, we're a dual wielding class in an RPG. I got so many swords, I don't even know what to do with them. Yeah. Kyonchi? Is Kyonchi like Jianchi? Yeah. I don't really get this, but sure. We're gonna fight against destiny itself. Our despicable enemy. So true. That'll get her to show up, right? Ooh, little shooting star. Yeah, we're just gonna have a chat. She'll be right. Yeah, going in without a plan. Yeah, he does that a lot. Purity in spirit. Okay. Alright, we're doing the vampire fight thing. We've inverted the colors. Hello. Yay, it's been so long. Well, they're the same person, right? But it's been so long since we've seen adult Shinobu. Oh, she looks pretty fucking fed up. Oh, the look there. Hmm. Yep. Super laugh. The strongest being. Okay. Thank you for playing. Oh, the colors. Ooh. Yeah, well, we're still together. Oh, crying blood. Silly jealousy. Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah, there wasn't at all. It was so slight. Hmm. I have no idea. Of course you do. You have some slight idea. Yep. But it's such a minute change, but they're so far apart. Okay. There's energy in me, though. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah, I think you interpreted that, I think, from memory. Hmm. Classic Monogatari anticlimax. Love it. I'm gonna suck my own blood. Yeah. I'm willing to die for a different timeline where this occurs, where this hopeful end. Oh, no way. That's tragic. Head pats for the boys. Alright, have a bite. Imagine seeing this screenshot like 4 episodes ago. You'd be like, what is happening? Alright, chapter 30, baby. Where we're at. We're back. How back? Okay. The 21st. So not the 20th. We still haven't done our homework. We can literally never know. Exactly. No Araragi. Yeah. And probably something Shinobu wanted as well, obviously. But she couldn't do it. She couldn't kill herself. Oh. Yeah. We missed school. But what happens to prevent you from going to school for the next few days as well? Yeah, so don't die, okay? Yeah, get better at fighting, otherwise I'll kill everybody. Well, I haven't read that Shakespeare, I'm sorry. Yeah, even the text said that, that's so funny. Okay, somebody had a running track. Oh. Hachikuji? Yay! Wait, see, oh, subverting expectations. I did exactly that. Oh, look, he's like a dummy. Now, what are you talking about? There's no such thing as time travel. Ha. Where's your backpack? Yeah. We should go back and get it. Before you looked inside. Of course not. Yeah. What does parallel even mean in that context? Okay, it's gone over my head. Padararagi. Great. Great. Perfect. We're back, baby. This has to be my route, baby. Yeah, stop grinning at me. Okay. Enough text? Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, right. Oh, that's the connection. Of course. There's happiness in unhappy endings, for sure. And that's the ultimate theme, right? Hmm. Making mistakes on occasion, right? Yet we walk forward. We make mistakes, yet we walk forward. And then, yeah, ending there. Yeah, let's jump into a little bit of analysis on episode 4 of Kabukimonogatari. Yeah, that's the name. Just because I feel like we should revisit this, I've got it up here. So yeah, I've added in these 2 points here now. Saved by future Hachikuji gives letter to Araragi from Meme, then the letter plays out. Then, hey, full power Shinobu gives up her life to take Araragi and Shinobu, our Araragi and Shinobu, back to the correct world line. I think that's basically what has happened. Yeah, from the world is kill little segment we had. So yeah, that's our update to the timeline there. That episode was great. This arc has been fantastic. Monogatari second season bangs. It goes too crazy. It is so good. The little segment, I almost cried. Let me get this up here. I almost cried like here, like during all this stuff. Where is it? Here, all the flowers. Yeah, all this shit. Fucking thought it was great. Walking through this ruined world, right? Just talking with Shinobu about some stuff, talking it all through, what we think, right? Thought it was brilliant. Loved it. This ending here with the head pat as well. The head pat sent me. Yeah, right here, and then the eyes, right? Yeah. Oh, bro, they're kind of like dead eyes too. Yeah, this shit's good. This shit's good as. Yeah, there should be more of a narrative around, hey, you should definitely keep watching Monogatari until season 2, or second season, I guess we're calling it, right? Like, stick around. It's really good. I'm telling you, it's really good. And pay attention. Pay attention, damn it. But yeah, obviously, got the episode up here. Gonna pause it when I find stuff to talk about. There was also an incredible sequence, a few minutes in, where we get the letter from Meme, and it reminded me a lot of Bakemonogatari, where we used to get these big, long, elaborate sequences where different stuff would happen. You know what I mean? So there was the one in Mayoi Snail where it kind of cut to this different animation style when Hachikuji was actually explaining what happened to her way back in the day. There's the one in Hitagi Crab where Senjougahara is explaining what happened to her as well. And we get these like different animation styles, like different feeling sequences that are narrated by the characters. I think that is where Monogatari shines, and we get a banger example of it here. Thought the stuff with Meme was great. Loved it. But either way, on with the episode. Pause it when I find stuff to talk about. So right off the bat, we're straight where we left off, surrounded by the zombies. Different like text coming up explaining how many there actually are surrounding them. So right, it looks bad for our heroes is my point, right? And then it starts to rain, and we're like, oh, okay, we did a lot of stuff with pathetic fallacy last episode with weather reflecting emotional states, so maybe that's what's happening here. And then we see the rain, and hey, it's actually rice. And I'm gonna look up some stuff quickly, but I think rice is used for occult stuff. There's Setsubon, which is the throwing of beans for evil spirits and bad fortunes, and that kind of thing. And I have some small stuff on witchcraft on Wikipedia, talking about throwing rice and cultivating stuff. Apparently you throw rice at weddings as well. Apparently that's maybe something to do with it as well. I don't know. Maybe I got that confused with Setsubon. But I digress, it wasn't all that too important. Either way, it disperses the zombies. And who threw said rice? It is who's speaking right now. I don't really understand why, but those guys seem to be weak against rice. And then we see her. Hey, it's you from the little preview at the very start. And yes, it is Hachikuji. I am not stupid, which is nice. It's nice to feel not stupid. I guess this is a pretty good indicator as well on the backpack, the little stuffed toy, which is one of Hachikuji's things, along with general color scheme, kind of your green ribbon, your red eyes, a little bit of white in the hair. And yeah, I guess I misinterpreted. I always thought Hachikuji was like 8. I think she's older than that slightly. So should be like 20 here, I would imagine. I think. In her 20s, I would say. Because they keep describing her as an adult, and I'm like, well, by my math, she would be like 18, and she's calling them kids, which is kind of like, well, you're just turned 18, you're not really there yet. But if she's in her 20s, I guess you can call them kids. I mean, I would. I also like how we get that shot of her straight into the opening, another good indicator that it is actually Hachikuji. A lone survivor, a beautiful woman, tall and tough. There she is. She's pretty cute. I can actually say it now that she's not, like, a child. And yeah, Aragi's just stunned, because of course he is. Like, this is literally the most, like, Destiny stuff in the show so far. It is pretty inconceivable that the one person that really matters to Araragi at this point in time is the one person that has practically survived this thing. There are more survivors, of course, but the chances can't be high, right, is my point. They even recognized in the previous episode that, hey, this is probably a bad SOS because people wouldn't come to this in a world of vampires. They would think it's a trap. So yeah, no one would help you if you do stuff like that. I'm giving you advice. I'm imparting advice on you. Araragi asks for her name, and yeah, it's Hachikuji Mayui-san. Excellent. Hey, we're doing it again. Hey, wait. Let me think about this for a second. They said it was a clear night. They said it was a clear night when they did the fireworks. Hey, I'm watching you. Again, time doesn't make sense. It's fine. I guess this is also the representation that the fruits of Araragi and Shinobu's labor in the past weren't entirely negative. At least to this point, they have done some amount of good. Some amount of good that wasn't demonstrated until right now. And then there's a lot of talk later about the world versus one girl, right? And we're going to choose the girl every time. No, scratch that. We're going to choose both, because that is the avarice of a hero. Yes, it is inherently more interesting to choose the girl than the world. We don't care about the world. Monogatari does not care about the world. We care about the girl. So I'm very happy we're sticking with that. We wouldn't make choices for the greater good. Just because I referenced it before, spoilers for Last of Us. It's also the decision that they make in The Last of Us. It is inherently more interesting to choose the girl over the world. Just keep that in mind in your character-based stories like that. Hachikuji asks after Araragi Koyomi once more. And yeah, oh, you're Araragi-kun. I was told to give you this letter. I originally thought that this was going to be some John Connor shit, like Araragi survived and he's leading the resistance or something, but I'm happy we didn't go down that route. That would have been stupid. Actually, the reason why she knows who Araragi is because of this letter. He did say that you'd be here with a blonde girl too. I wonder who would know all this. He's the same guy that told me to use the rice, a guy named Oshino. Great, and then we jump into our little sequence here. Okay, let's talk about what's going on here. So, let's start at point 1, the visuals. They are immaculate. I love the shadow puppety stuff we have going on with Oshino. I love the way he's walking. I love the rhythm of it. It kind of matches the music in the background. Talking about the audio, we have kind of Oshino talking over himself, almost like one line immediately ends, then another audio clip starts, kind of like how I edit it as well, which isn't a good way to edit, by the way. But it works for the scene very well. Again, like this, you get the expression of somebody reading this letter very quickly, like absorbing all the information in total disbelief at what they're reading. We had this painterly style of the world lines that we're going through, right? Lots of interesting angles, one cutting straight across at a 45, almost like a river too. Lots of stuff we can pull from there. Yeah, it's just, obviously flexing. They've got a point to tell, and they're going to tell it with a lot of visual flair. Almost like a shadow of Oshino as well. Interesting. And then that river, or the line, closes and then opens to an eye, and we get lots of different visuals of all the different Hachikujis in that. Bit of gold in the background, maybe, or a flower. I think it's a flower. No, it's like liquid. Yeah, because okay, so now we're walking against each other like we're on different lines there as well. And always Shinobu in tow, right? So I also think it's kind of convenient that Oshino figured it all out very quickly, but it is also very Oshino to do that, right? He knows a lot, right? He is one of the strongest characters in the universe that we see up to this point. Of course, after hearing a random story from Hachikuji, he would think, that sounds like Araragi, and then, yeah, lo and behold. He literally breaks down the time travel here, something that Shinobu would probably snore at. So instead of this being a V, it's two different lines, and we're jumping between lines. It's a parallel world theory as opposed to a one world, everything has causality theory, right? In doing what they did in the past, technically this is the difference between this world line and this world line, but going back to the time in this one will just make it the same as this one. Does that make any sense? They can freely jump back and forth. Well, not freely, but you know what I mean. There's a difference, is my point. So the one we're originally from is A, this is X. Visually represented very nicely here, even in the nice English numbers as well for me, which is cool. So where you warped back to wasn't 11 years ago in Route A. It isn't the same world, it's a different world. It's 11 years ago in Route X. So all that talk we had before, last episode, about the separation of these different characters is even clearer now because they are technically characters from different lines. Okay. Instead of walking up the incline now, Oshino is climbing. So he's kind of vertically crossed, done a triangle. He's gone down back to 11 years and then back forward 11 years into the second line, the X line. Please, Araragi-kun and Shinobu-chan, can you save our world? So Kiss Shot annihilated the world, but she's still alive, a menace to the few people left who are barely surviving. She couldn't kill herself. Wasn't that the whole thing of Kizu? Right. I don't know why I didn't pick that up before. Like, she wants to die. That's the whole thing about Kizu, right? The servant died, she wants to die, she's sick of life, this kind of thing. But in the relation between the servant and the master in Araragi and Shinobu, Araragi doesn't want Shinobu to die. So that's where we're at our impasse, right? And of course, you can also flip that and say that, hey, Shinobu doesn't want Araragi to die either, as kind of recompense for the servant in the past. So obviously, she isn't going to take the power back and keep being her as well. Not only did she fail to commit suicide, she also failed when she sired her minions. The vampires she sired were copies of herself. That's why, like how cells deteriorate if you keep making clones, she failed. And that's why it happened like this, right? We had a fundamental misunderstanding of what had happened. It isn't that Shinobu's dead, and this is the result. It's that she failed in the process of making the vampires even in the first place. So the failures of vampires kind of zombifiedly walking around, spreading it out, killing everybody, it isn't exactly copies of Shinobu, And they aren't brain dead because of Shinobu killing herself. Got it. Heart Under Blade has also gone missing. We've recruited a couple of familiar faces to go look for her as well, in Kaiki and Kaganui. Teaming up with a violent exorcist and a con artist. Of course, we know who these people are. Your college mates, of course. So all of these imperfect minions, we can turn them back. We can have this hope that we can make the world better again. So I write to you, Araragi, please help us with this. And of course we'll never know. It's only the sweetest of expectations. But again, you would like to think that we've saved the world in this world line, right? Visually, this is great. I love our kind of 3D render of Oshino here, kind of climbing this rock wall, like just gripping on, just having that one piece of hope that all can be repaired, getting to the top of whatever kind of steep hill that he's trying to climb, metaphorically. We may fall, but we still continue to climb. We may make mistakes, but we still continue to live on. Something like that. No one can stop her. That's right, no one other than you guys as well. So, again, not mentioning the word kill. So I know you guys are a little bit weak, but I still ask this of you. Don't feel obliged to. Please save this world is my selfish wish, and there's no reason for you to heed it. But of course, it's Araragi. If you ask him for help, of course he's going to help. Most of the time, you don't even need to ask him. It's just in his nature. Of course he's here to help. And as we see, what Oshino was climbing up turns into a piece of string and floats back up. Again, the thin piece of string snapping. Like, hey, all of this from a small source, you know what I mean? So all of this climbing, all of this and that, is from something as simple as a piece of string. Maybe we're getting at that. But Araragi-kun, it's good to save a girl that's right in front of you. Your dear friend, Oshino Meme. Great. We love a good letter in Monogatari for sure. Yeah, it's been so long since we've seen Oshino. Well, kind of. We saw him in Kuro, but that doesn't really count. This is the first time in a while since the end of Bake that Oshino has communicated with Araragi in any way, even if this is just the Oshino from a different world line. This answers my question from the previous kind of analysis segment as well. Araragi does end up with Senjugahara in this world line as well. From this, we can imply that in every world line, there is some destined meetup between Araragi and Senjugahara, which is all very cute. I love it. And yeah, I would be stunned too, Araragi. Pretty cool letter, and it lets us know what we need to do now. We need to face the Shinobu in this world line to try and save the world. Again, an insane level of foresight from Oshino Meme, but all the more very cool. I don't know what this part's meant to signify, kind of Hachikuji inviting him to have some tea and that kind of thing. I guess she's at her mother's place. It shows that she found her way back home, essentially. It's the flipping of the script. I'm resourceful enough to take care of 2 children, like you thought that I was the child before. Kind of like how they flipped the script at the end of the episode as well with Hachikuji doing Araragi's routine. All things said, I'm lonely by myself, just these flashes of the different little knickknacks she has on her bag. You're very kind, Hachikuji-san. And yeah, I'm nice because a stranger was nice to me back when I was a kid, kind of repaying the favor, right? Pushing it forward. and Araragi refuses the offer, we have somewhere else to go. We're gonna save the world, baby! I like this little sub here. Yes, we're strange. Probably just frame that and put it over most of the characters in the show. They are very strange. Araragi grabbing Hachikuji's hand here, and then this little look here. Like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, he still cares about me. Because that was the whole thing with the stuff with Tsubasa Cat, right? Where she ran away, she didn't really think that Araragi still thought about her like that. She thought that he had moved on. And now this is just a small little reminder that he hasn't forgotten. Just nice and subtle, nice quick, but still all the more welcome. Like, we're gonna go fix this together. Like, instead of being fascinated with Hachikuji, like, that he went and saved, and went and, you know, she grew up. Of course this is inherently interesting to Araragi. Still focusing on Shinobu. Nice touch. Then she asks the question, have I met you before, Araragi? Clearly, we have met her before. And Araragi just plays it off, really. And just like that, we're off. Thanks her for staying alive, and we don't see her again. Without looking back, that little flash there too. Great. So this is a really great scene, and I'll break it down a little bit here. I love the colors already. Just this kind of lonely, slow conversation with Hachikuji. Nobody else in the world to kind of talk at us or anything. We're just going to talk it out. Just, yeah, lonely walking in our yukatas towards the top of the hill to the shrine there. What do we do now? We're going to go save the world. And we get these nice quick little cuts of Shinobu smiling a lot too, which are just great. It's nice to see her have a little bit of a happy ending here for how down she was in herself last episode. It's inevitable that we'll still be together. If I want to save the world and save that girl, I'm going to be with you. I die, you die. And right now, they're clearly walking towards their death. They don't think that they can win against a fully powered vampire. Despite that, they're still going to try. The literal essence of Araragi's personality. Even though if you math it out, hey, you are technically both together as powerful as her, that is how the system works. The background here is immense, love it. The detail on the tracks, almost the two walled lines through the middle there. He says something about Monogatari here as well, which is kind of funny. Something about an eccentric story. It's like, oh, he said the thing. Oh, these shots in particular, these like, yeah, great. Just her walking through, like, full focus on Shinobu, grass to either side, and just she's smiling and walking confidently. Love it. Like, it's almost heaven, you know what I mean? Something like a paradise about it, about the lighting, about the kind of open field in front of us. Like, we can go anywhere. And here it is, the avarice of a hero. You save the world and you save the girl as well. That is what we do. Yeah, look, it's just nice. It's nice, isn't it? Since we're together in death, I guess we're even closer together in life. Yeah, and it's just all happy. That's nice. But yeah, it seems like Shinobu has replicated Heartspan here, which is nice, and we have two each, which is a little bit overkill considering what happens. I don't really understand the whole Jianshi thing. If somebody could explain that, that'd be great. Kind of this hopping vampire, a reanimated corpse, half between life and death. Is that what the newest Shinobu is in this world line? Or is that the zombies? It's weird, I don't understand. A little look at a drowned insect as we're talking about this border between life and death as well, and what saving Hachikuji means. Even if it's destiny itself that Hachikuji living would end the world, I don't trust destiny. I'm not going to take that as an answer. You know, protagonist shit. Her being here makes the world worth it. Why would I choose the world over her when there's no point in me doing that if the world is so boring without her? Again, yeah, your classic conundrum, always pick the girl. Then Shinobu just like yells, and I guess this summons the other Shinobu. This would make sense to me. Like I would show up if I heard myself screaming. And we just see that one shooting star as well. I wonder if that's her. Anyway, they don't feel like running away, and the Shinobu approaches. The Shinobu in this world line. We get our color swap here, our palette change when we go into combat. Again, putting us into this false sense of we have to fight this person, when Oshino never said anything of the sort. Because every time we've seen this, we fought Kambaru, and we fought somebody else. Somebody else was using this as well. And we don't fight. We don't fight at all. Actually, we have another color change, and then we just don't fight. Using our cool Monogatari deep purples here as a backdrop here. And so she tried to kill herself by burning herself, and obviously didn't work, but she is still charred from the experience. I chose to burn myself to death just like that man did. Her servant? Did he burn himself? I forget. And this face, this look of disgust. but it's disgust in herself, It's that this is attainable, and I didn't do it. Both Shinobus here are unhappy with each other. Why did you choose to die, and then why did I choose to die when this was attainable, right? It's still conflating, like, the me in this world line with the me in the other world line, even though they're completely different people and you can't judge each other for that, but of course they do. It's also so nice to hear, I guess, adult Shinobu voice again. It's so classy and foreboding. I love it. Very vampire. But this is why she's so deranged, right? This was possible. I made the bad end. And yeah, the crazy laughter ensues. We get our second little color change here. We go to a deep red, almost these white cracks on the ground as well. Almost still your photonegative style. These deep maroons and reds just invoke Kizu to me as well. I love it. The crying of blood, which is something we've seen in Symphogear as well, so it was a little bit jarring there. This is a masterpiece. What I'm looking at right now is what I want to attain. It is the most perfect thing, yet from silly jealousy I ruined it all. But wasn't this heart-wrenching to be shown that such a possibility existed? And we're taking our theme even further, right? Don't look back on your mistakes, keep moving forward, right? Everything you are is who you are, right? And because of that, because Shinobu moving on, right, and not reflecting on the past and not using her own power to go back now, she's instead using that power to push on to this better tomorrow. It's great. Love it. We're not dwelling, right? We don't want to ruin this thing because it exists. We want to perpetuate it, right? That sucks that this couldn't be me. But I'm not going to tear it down. And then, yeah, now we're all crying blood. Our Shinobu says there isn't a huge difference between us. We're very similar. It's only a small change. And you could have been there. And this Shinobu, she knows that she was so close to being this as well, and being confronted with that is very emotional. But even despite this, there's still such a rift. Small things create big things. Butterfly effect, right? Despite this small change, we are so far apart right now. They both fail to comprehend each other, even though there's such a small difference. It's so, it's just the magnitude's large. It just kind of, exponentially grows out from that one change. She says I could have used the strategy guide as well, which is kind of funny. And we lose our color here. We lose our luster, right? After learning all of this. It all becomes very cold and sad. And then, yeah, this Shinobu says, hey, I'm going to take you, Minion, and me from another world. I'm going to let you go back to your world. But there's not enough energy stored up to do so. In that case, then turn me into your energy. I'm going to give up my life so you can continue. And then this is the realization from Araragi. Oshino never said kill. Oshino knew in his almighty foresight that this would occur. That she would still be feeling this way all these years later and see this and have her change her heart. Again, convenient, but still a great story. And all that stuff Oshino was talking about, saving the girl right in front of you, that extends to this 600-year-old vampire as well. And by saving her, I guess we're draining her? I don't know. Fair enough, I guess. I guess all she wants in life is to be... one can't live without the other, right? She wants to die. We both die together. That's the whole thing. So in saving her, we're killing her. Okay, that makes sense. The Shinobu in this route asks one more favor from Araragi. Just give me a head pat. And then, yeah, this is great. Love it. 2 months without having Araragi there. Even longer considering what happened in Bake, and not a lot of head pats happening there. But we think back to Kizu, we think about all the head pats there. All she wanted was a bit of affection. And yeah, Araragi happily obliges. I love the cold eyes here, still dead to it all. It's just, it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad. This is what could have been. Closes the eyes, accepts her fate, and then Shinobu takes a chomp. And we get sent back to the past. We're back to the 21st of August, right back where we belong, right in our world line. I hope everyone came back to life, or rather turned back into humans. So there's not that barrier between life and death that we were talking about, right? It continues on. And yeah, everybody would come back to life, well, except you, Araragi, who kind of spurred it on to begin with. But that's the whole point, right? No one can live while the other survives, some Harry Potter shit. If Araragi dies, Shinobu has to die, that's how it works. It is so, you think back, right? You think back to Bakemonogatari, that first episode, right? You walk in, and you just see this random child in the corner. It's like, oh yeah, that's her, she's a ruined vampire. Anyway, she is so important to what we're doing. So important to the show. And it's ridiculous that they bury the lead like that. It's so funny. Now, this is us looking forward, right? This is the first day of school. This is when Hanakawa's talking to Senjugahara about the tiger, and then they see that her house is burning down, and all that starts to happen, right? But Araragi isn't at school that day, so what happens next? We're going to have to find out. There's still some skullduggery afoot, I believe. We're going to be thrust into something else shortly. And there's some other reason why Gaien and Episode and Yotsugi are all in town as well. This is crazy. Like, what is going to happen? Shinobu yawns. You better think about before you die again, because if you do, I'm pretty likely to destroy the world. So I guess from now on you should consider how you're going to fight. Oh brother, this is truly a Midsummer Night's Dream. And of course I hadn't read the Shakespeare there. Not that Araragi has either. That's funny. It's great, he's just like me, for real. We get 2 hands placed on the ground here, and a gratuitous panty shot. And hey, somebody's kind of lining up, ready to tackle Araragi. And yeah, it's Hachikuji throwing around the dummy Araragi. Hey, I caught ya! And they're kind of, role reversing here. It's meant to be cute. So it turns out that Hachikuji wasn't gone, she wasn't disappeared or any of that, she was just merely still looking for Araragi, and they just kept missing each other. She went back for her bag, she clearly didn't want Araragi to see what was in the bag, and yeah. And the face of Hachikuji here reflecting a lot of Araragi's faces when he's doing the thing to Hachikuji. Cute. I was so worried that you'd gone off to an alternate dimension or something. Ha 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 ha. But I'm glad you're alright, let me touch you more. And he thinks that this is a fake Hachikuji on a different route because she's acting so different. But no, only my Hachikuji, the Hachikuji that I have this relationship with, would be doing these things, right? Only she would do the stupid thing where she's like, oh, my tongue slipped or whatever, and the stupid comedy routine. Hey, Hachikuji, do you really love me? And then she's like, no, I hate you. But because she says that, he knows that it's the right her. You know what I mean? It's a love-hate thing. You know the vibes, right? Let's go pick it up from my place. Let's ride back on my bike. Can you get on? I don't want to ride back. I just got back from a pretty crazy adventure, so I'd like to ride back if possible. A crazy adventure, relax, all these thoughts going through Araragi's mind. And one more question before I forget, Hachikuji. Have you ever thought about coming back to life? Not at all. Soon I'll have been dead longer than I was alive. But that it still begs the question, is there some reason why you're still here? I guess we don't know. I guess the reason why you're still here is so the world doesn't get destroyed? Maybe? Oh no, it's strange. But yeah, this is reinforcing our theme of the arc around no regrets, about not going back and changing stuff. I don't regret dying. Not at all. Soon I'll have been dead longer than I was alive. That's how it is, just because. It's the same for you, right? You wouldn't go back to being human, even if there was a way, right? Linking it into the Shinobu stuff. You wouldn't let go of Shinobu, right? To go back to becoming human. It's the same way for me. Because of what happened to me, I got to meet you and go to all these other new fun experiences, right? Of course there would be no reason why I would want to go back and change that. And Araragi should have used his own kind of thoughts and perceptions of what's going on to reinforce that. Yeah, you and I are the same in that regard. We wouldn't go back and change things. Not Kizu, not even once we're changing Kizu. We're going to keep that the way it always has been, because for me to change that, I would need to lose Shinobu, and there's no way I want to do that. Then are you happy you turned into a ghost? I'm happy I was able to meet Araragi-san. So even though I couldn't see my mother, there's other good things that have happened to me as a result as well. We talked about our silly idle chatter on the way back, looking back every so often, making mistakes on occasion, and sometimes being lost, yet savoring each and every step we walk forward along this route. What a great moral. It's something, yeah, again, I very, very much believe this. Everything you are, the things you do, you can't go back and change things. We move forward and we learn. But it's the process of doing that that is enriching. And that's life, baby. That's it. And then, yeah, continue next time. That's it. That was great. I don't know where I'd put it in the grand pantheon of Monogatari stuff, but yeah, it's just awesome. It's great. It's so creative. It links back together in so many different ways. I still don't know what they meant about traffic lights, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, but everything else clicked. That was nice. And yeah, the timeline helped. I'm very happy I made it, so that's good. Seemingly next week we're jumping into Otori Monogatari. I had a poll on Discord about where I should watch Hana Monogatari because there was some conjecture about it. Hana Monogatari is going to be after Monogatari second season instead of now. So Otori Monogatari is next. Please be excited. I don't know what it means, but Otori, I could not even tell you. I guess in summary, Shinobu's becoming one of my favorite characters for sure. It's nice to have so much Araragi stuff after so much Hanakawa. So Hanakawa gets put on the back burner for a while, which is needed, even though I like me some Hanakawa. And yeah, I wonder what's happening next with going to school. Something is going to interrupt him before he gets there, right? Obviously. So we'll see what occurs there. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'll do my shill stuff quickly. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I could do to improve my presentation, comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you would like me to follow you back. And the Discord, join the Discord, vote in the poll in the next 12 hours to try and get a result there if you want it, and talk about Monogatari and all sorts of other stuff. It'll be great. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you again next week for Otori Monogatari. Thank you very much. I'll catch you later.